Hey, what's going on everyone? Welcome back to another video. So it wasn't too long ago that I had reviewed TCL's most popular 4K TV, the TCL R646. And I wanted to revisit this in a video since this 55-inch TV is absolutely amazing, and I've been using it as both a monitor and a TV primarily for the last couple weeks, and I figured I'd be able to answer some questions like A, am I out of my mind? And B, is this too big for a monitor? I'll take you through my last 2 weeks using this, and quick spoiler, I'm still using this today as a monitor and it hasn't pissed me off quite yet. And if you are new here, thanks for stopping by. Here I cover tech with a purpose, and if you dig the video, consider liking and subbing, or else you'll get the red ring of death but on your PlayStation 5. Alright, so I've been trying new monitors left and right, and while all of them have been great, none of them have yet hit the spot for my gaming needs. I do have an idea which monitor I will try next, but of course that is for another day. I know I won't be keeping this as my monitor really, but my Gigabyte M32Q is only 1440p, and I just broke up heartfully with the Sony InZone M9 I just reviewed. It was really great, but for the price point, I didn't quite have everything I personally needed. And frankly, I have this bomb-ass TV that's 4K 120Hz, and it's sort of sitting around in my bedroom. It looks amazing, and when you think of it, it costs less than most 4K high refresh monitors on the market. Not only does it have its own operating system, but it has low response times, a lot of screen to work with, and it pairs absolutely perfect with the new generation consoles. Now for this setup off the bat, I will say there is no DisplayPort, so I have actually moved my gaming PC down to my basement with my ultrawide monitor. But let's talk a little bit more about the TV itself. If you're unfamiliar with the TCL R646, it's one of the higher end TVs coming out of TCL's lineup, not to be confused with the R635, which won't have HDMI 2.1 support. It is a mini LED TV, so it'll be a little bit thicker than an OLED, but you've got to dissipate that heat somehow. The TV itself is built really well, and I seriously dig the brushed metal frame. That and the bezels are super thin. It actually fits easily into almost any setup. Now for specs, I'll keep this really simple really. I'm not a spec nut, but this does cover you for just about everything. Starting off, this is a 4K panel of course, meaning the new generation consoles and built-in entertainment apps will look absolutely incredible. This does have high refresh capabilities up to 120Hz with the two HDMI 2.1 ports. It also supports auto low latency mode or ALLM in its automatic gaming mode, which picks up as soon as you hop on any console, as well as variable refresh rate. The Xbox Series X had VRR from launch, but the PlayStation 5 also just got VRR not too long ago in an update. So games that previously were locked to 60 FPS now bump all the way up to between 110 to 120 frames per second. Apart from the display, you've got a built-in Google Home and all the smart TV apps you'd ever want. And as an LCD display, it does get super bright, so I'm really not worried about reflections, especially in my tiny office, and HDR content absolutely pops. So if you ask me, this is one hell of a TV, and really apart from its big ass size and no DisplayPort, it really does tick almost all the boxes. Quickly, let's talk ports. You've got 4 HDMI ports, 2 of them are 2.1 supported, which will give you that higher refresh while gaming. The downside is one of the 2 ports is an eARC port, meaning that any smart control devices or home theater systems will eat one of your 2 ports. You do have a cable in if you do still use TV boxes, a USB A port, an optical out, and a headphone jack, which is missing in more and more TVs these days. Now, let's be real, most people have TVs in their living room, but this is a setup in my office because, well, I really want to try something new and something a little bit different. The goal here was to keep the setup somewhat minimal, and honestly, it kind of worked out. My keyboard slots perfectly underneath the TV itself, as do my laptop and iPad, and all my controls here on these basic Amazon stands. And everything here is plugged into this 100-watt GAN power strip from Ugreen, which is today's video sponsor. It's been a great help in keeping this whole area decluttered. Both my PlayStation 5 and Series X are grounded and surge protected while plugged in, and there's a chunk of ports on the front, which is where you get most of its use. Charging my PlayStation 5 controller is way quicker than plugging it direct into my PS5, and charging on my iPhone is super quick as well, with up to 60% in 30 minutes. The 2 left Type-C ports charge up to 100 watts, and the third Type-C at 22.5 watts, and the USB at 22.5 watts. Here I've got 2 laptops, an iPad, my phone, and controller all charging at the same time, and I gotta say it works really well. You can check out this power strip link below in the video description. So yes, using a TV this big is kind of wild, but overall I mainly use this as a TV for my game consoles. I'm a one cable type of guy too, so I use an HDMI dock that I can easily slot between both my laptop and Nintendo Switch. But let's talk gaming, since this is what I primarily use this TV for, and honestly, I feel kind of spoiled. Really, this TV looks incredible, especially for the price point. Auto low latency kicks in right away with gaming mode when hopping onto a console, and the high refresh is automatically detected depending on what game you're playing. Even when playing ridiculously fast-paced games like Call of Duty, there's zero tearing or artifacts while gaming. And I've been a little bit addicted to God of War lately. I'm super excited for the next release, God of War Ragnarok, and I just finished my first playthrough ever. Here you can watch me getting destroyed by the same Valkyrie in 3 different angles in 4K. But for real, there's always a part in any game or movie that just makes you go wow, and even though this is a PlayStation 4 title, the colors here are represented insanely well on this TV. And let's not even get started on PlayStation 5 titles like Horizon Forbidden West or Cyberpunk. Both of these take graphics to the next level, and the R646 here really helps it shine. Horizon Forbidden West is now a VRR enabled title too, but unfortunately I still suck. Maybe I'll just stick with photo mode. And briefly, here's where my sanity comes into question since I have been using this as a monitor for a bit. My desk is about 30 inches deep and I do sit rather far back, so it's not too bad. Just look at all this screen estate. So far I haven't had much eye strain or headaches, but I can just hear my mom in the back of my head screaming, "Don't sit too close to the TV." Well, joke's on you, mom, this is a monitor. And outside of gaming and monitor usage, everything else about this TV is still great. While I'm working, the Google Home is good for a quick currency exchange or a quick question even while I am gaming. Throwing up some lo-fi tunes while using my other setup is neat. And watching content on here just showcases the HDR beauty that is this display. You got all those apps you'd need, of course, Disney, Netflix, Amazon Prime, YouTube, and I only just found out this TV also has Bluetooth capability, so only I will hear the vile things a Call of Duty lobby has to say about my mom. And cherry on top, this does have Google TV OS, so it is really clean and it works really well. Overall, the TV looks incredible in terms of image, and while it won't quite match the blacks of an OLED TV, it does an incredible job on its own and you won't really be disappointed. But let's sum this whole thing up. Am I insane for using this as a monitor? Well, yes, but it does work so well for me and my eyes don't hate me yet. That and games just look so freaking good on here. Some pros and cons for me. Pro, number one, I probably can hold off on buying a gaming monitor for a bit. I've got my C2 OLED in the living room and the R646 in the office. Number two, the price is amazing, starting at 650 bucks, so the price is super competitive there. And number three, which is kind of two, the speakers are amazing and the software is great. This TV isn't without fault though, some cons. This TV isn't available everywhere, and I'll have a regional link down below in the description, but you might not be able to get it. I also feel like only 2 HDMI 2.1 ports is a little bit weak. And one con, which is kind of only for me in my personal use case, is that a 55-inch monitor is too damn big. Let's just be honest about it, but we'll see how it goes in the long run. Anyways, that's been it. Thanks for watching till the end. Hit that like button if you enjoyed the video and subscribe if you loved it. Till next time.